The emergency fund mistake costing Americans thousands of dollars. 1. The "I've got money in checking" illusion. If you ask most people whether they have an emergency fund, a surprising number will say yes, because they have money sitting in their checking account. And that's not an emergency fund. That's money waiting to become a DoorDash order, a concert ticket, or a random Amazon purchase you won't remember in 6 months. The hidden problem is psychological. Studies consistently show that people spend money differently depending on where it's stored. If your emergency savings sits beside your everyday spending money, your brain treats it like it's available. You know the feeling. You open your banking app, you see $4,000. Your brain immediately starts subtracting. Rent, groceries, that new phone, a weekend trip. Suddenly, your emergency fund becomes money that technically exists. Back in the early internet days, this was like storing your important files directly on the family desktop and hoping nobody clicked delete. An emergency fund only works when it has a job. Its job is protecting you from financial disasters, not financing random Tuesday impulses. And the next mistake is even more dangerous because it feels incredibly responsible. 2. Keeping every dollar invested. One of the most expensive finance myths is the idea that every spare dollar should be invested. Sounds smart, sounds it's a disaster. Imagine your car transmission dies tomorrow. The repair bill is $3,800. You don't have cash. Your investments are down 25%. Now you're forced to sell assets at exactly the wrong time. This is how people accidentally turn a temporary emergency into a permanent financial setback. Markets recover. Your sold shares don't. Many people learned this lesson during major market downturns when investments dropped right as layoffs increased. The cruel part? The emergency fund isn't supposed to maximize returns, it's supposed to maximize survival. Think of it like a seatbelt. Nobody complains that a seatbelt only earns 0% annually. Its purpose is protection, not growth. And if you thought investing emergency money was risky, wait until you hear what millions of people are doing with credit cards. 3. Using credit cards as an emergency fund. This sounds insane. Yet countless Americans quietly treat available credit as emergency savings. The logic seems reasonable. I have a $10,000 credit limit. No, you have access to debt. Those are not the same thing. Picture this. Your air conditioner dies during a summer heat wave. Outside, it's 98 degrees. Inside, your house feels like a microwave. The repair costs $6,000. You swipe the card. Problem solved. Until the statement arrives. At 20% to 30% interest, that emergency starts growing teeth. The repairman leaves after 2 hours. The interest can stay for years. A single emergency can trigger thousands of dollars in extra payments if the balance lingers. It's like downloading one sketchy file from LimeWire in 2004 and somehow infecting the entire family computer. One mistake, months of consequences. And somehow the next mistake manages to cost people even more. 4. Saving the wrong amount. The famous advice says 3 to 6 months of expenses. Most people hear that and immediately stop listening, because it sounds impossible. But here's the hidden truth. The biggest mistake isn't having too little. It's having no target at all. If your monthly expenses are $3,500, then 6 months means $21,000. That's useful information. Without a target, you're wandering. With a target, you're building. Many people either save almost nothing or go to the opposite extreme and lock away huge amounts of cash they could be investing. Both create problems. Emergency funds are not trophies. They're tools. The correct size depends on your risk. Stable government job? You may need less. Commission-based income? You may need more. And speaking of where people keep this money, there's a mistake so common it quietly drains cash every single day. If you've already spotted one of these mistakes in your own finances, keep track of how many there are, because the last one is the one that catches even financially savvy people. 5. Leaving emergency savings in a low-interest account. Some people spend years building an emergency fund and then accidentally let inflation eat it alive. Imagine saving $15,000. You feel accomplished, protected, prepared. Then that money sits in an account earning almost nothing, year after year. Meanwhile, prices rise, groceries cost more, insurance costs more, Rent costs more. Your dollars slowly lose purchasing power. The goal isn't chasing risky returns, it's reducing unnecessary losses. A competitive high-yield savings account can dramatically outperform traditional savings accounts while keeping money accessible. It's the financial equivalent of discovering your old gaming console could have been running in HD the entire time and nobody told you. Same money, better setup. But the next mistake doesn't slowly drain your savings. It can wipe out the entire fund in a single decision. 6. Calling non-emergencies emergencies. This one destroys emergency funds faster than almost anything else. The emergency fund exists for true emergencies, not opportunities, not wants, not upgrades. A flash sale is not an emergency. Taylor Swift tickets are not an emergency. A bigger television is definitely not an emergency. The problem is emotional justification. Your brain becomes a very talented lawyer. You convince yourself the purchase is necessary, reasonable, urgent. Before you know it, the money is gone. Then a real emergency appears, and now you're unprotected. Emergencies are usually boring. Medical bills, job loss, major repairs. Those don't arrive with warning labels. That's why the money must still be there when they show up. And the final mistake is the one that quietly turns a financial inconvenience into a full-blown crisis. 7. Waiting until disaster strikes. The most expensive emergency fund mistake is believing you'll start one later. Later is comfortable. Later feels safe. Later feels responsible, until reality arrives. The layoff email, the emergency room visit, the transmission failure, the broken water heater, the call nobody wants, and suddenly you're trying to build a parachute after you've already jumped. Most financial emergencies don't become disasters because they're huge. They become disasters because people weren't prepared before they happened. An emergency fund doesn't remove bad luck. It removes panic. The moment your paycheck stops, the moment the repair estimate appears, the moment the unexpected bill lands in your inbox. The real purpose of an emergency fund isn't money. It's options. It's time. It's breathing room. It's the ability to make decisions without fear controlling every move. And that's why the most expensive emergency fund mistake isn't investing wrong, saving wrong, or spending wrong. It's believing emergencies only happen to other people.